Hello, and welcome to another episode of First and Last. I am Josh. I am with Joe.
What's up, man?
And Jimmy.
What is it that is up
Hello.
with you, dog?
Hey all, everybody.
I got distracted, so I switched it up.
That's
Nice.
fair. Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, before we start, everybody watching this knows what show we're doing because it's on the episode title. But it was my week to pick, and I didn't tell you guys. So before we do it, I'm going to read you an inspirational quote.
Okay.
If you love something, let it go. If it comes back to you, it's yours. If it's run over by a car, you don't want it. That's spoken by Elf. And today, we're doing Babylon 5.
I don't know what to think anymore.
That was all over.
Like, was that even a real quote?
I mean, I read it off my computer.
Okay.
The internet said it.
The internet said it.
The internet said that Elf said it.
Wait, why did you read an Elf quote?
'Cause
for
he's
Babylon 5.
Because he's an alien from space.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And I bet there's not a lot of great Babylon 5 quotes out there. I don't know.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
I guess we will.
Here's what I know about Babylon 5.
Oh, yes. Jumping into it.
Just right now, when you said Babylon 5, I remembered that was a TV show. That is it. Is it a spin-off of something?
Babylon 4.
All right.
No, I don't know.
Babylon 4. Is Babylon 5 the one with the Cylons?
No, that's Battlestar Galactica.
That's Battlestar Galactica. What is Babylon 5?
I don't know, man.
This is my best. So, I've seen a couple episodes of this. I think I've seen 10 episodes of it, like piecemeal, like just kind of everywhere. And I remember it getting like kind of nuts, and I was like, "This is fun." And then
What channel is this on?
Sure, it was on UPN back in the day.
Okay.
How
many seasons?
5.
Okay. Babylon 5 seasons.
I don't know if that was a
Babylon 5
thing they
seasons.
planned, but it was on from like 93. When was it? I think it was like 93, 94 to 98. It was on. That was when it was on.
Okay.
And apparently there was like 5 movies.
Ooh.
I'm sure they're quality.
I'm
Babylon
imagining
5 movies.
I'm imagining
There
like
might have been 5 movies. I'll count. Joe, there were 5 movies.
man, they're sticking to their gimmick. Living out that gimmick.
That's good.
What you were gonna say, Joe?
I am imagining that this is Stargate SG-1 with even less of a budget.
I'm pretty sure it's more
Wow,
of a
yeah.
budget.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm envisioning Star Trek Voyager.
You're imagining the wrong Star Trek to think about.
Oh, okay. DS9?
Yeah.
Are we just going to sit on a space station for 5 years?
No, yeah.
There are parts of DS9 that are like my favorite, but of any Star Trek. I almost said Star War.
Yeah, I saw the W forming in your mouth.
But overall, I think DS9 is the most boring show I've ever watched every second of.
Have you seen Star Trek Voyager
Yeah,
and
Okay.
Enterprise?
but the premise of Voyager was so awesome for me.
What's the premise of Voyager?
They go through a wormhole, and then they're like a gajillion light years away from home all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just trying to get back.
And then they're just trying to get
before they
home.
all die.
Because like on their like the fastest they can go, going straight towards home, it would take like 70 years or something like that.
Okay.
So they're like trying to get home as fast as so they get home before they all die kind of thing. Or like, faster than 70 years. Like,
Yeah, so they try to find little wormholes that will hopefully like help them get a little bit farther.
yeah, the show is literally just them going, "No, let's try this wormhole." And they just go through that.
DS9 is them we're on this space station. 5 years later, we're on this space station.
There's a huge war in
There's a
Deep
war
Space Nine.
happening, but it's like not immediately like at the space station. It's kind of like away.
Well, no, it's in the Alpha Quadrant. Delta
they get
Quadrant?
like a cool ship at some point because at some point they were like, we can't just always just be on the space station. This is awful.
When they got that ship, it was dope. That ship was cool. The Defiant is what it was called.
I hope there's a ship.
I think you're both right.
Prediction 1. I hope Babylon 5 has a ship.
What would the ship's name be in Babylon 5?
Babylon 5.
That's the name of the space station.
Jamiroquai 7.
Ooh, I'm into it. So what I know about it is it's very similar. Actually, do you know when Babylon? Do you know when the DS9 came out?
I'll look it up.
Is Deep Space Nine ripping off Babylon 5, or was Babylon 5 ripping off
I
DS9?
see.
Because they're in a space station. There's some sort of like Federation type human, people that like run the space station, I think. And then
93.
so DS9 was the
Babylon 5 ripped off.
Yeah, they ripped it off. And there's like just a gajillion like aliens, but I think it's more heated. I think instead of like Deep Space Nine is like somewhere where it's kind of a neutral zone, sort of like there's a couple different alien races like worlds around, but they're not like insane. Like there's conflict every once in a while, but I feel like the only thing I really remember from Babylon 5 is there's just like a ton of aliens and like everybody's mad all the time. So there's like a lot of conflict. That's what I remember.
No one is happy.
So Joe, what's gonna happen in this first episode?
There's a rugged like space pirate main character, and he's put in charge of some team, but he's kind of a reluctant leader. He's put in the position of a Cyclops, but he's really the Wolverine of the show.
I thought he was like he has one eye for a second.
He's a giant Cyclops. And then there's a lady character who is maybe like a Jean Grey, and she is also a leader, but more of a natural leader than he is. And she's kind of holding shit together while they're out trying to work out peace between the space nations.
Do these people have the mental traits of those X-Men only, or do you believe that they have those superpowers as well?
Let's go with no superpowers.
Okay.
But I bet the dude is hairy like Wolverine.
What is Okay.
All right.
Fair enough. What is
He has
I don't know the
chops.
answers to any of these either. I'm just asking you fun questions.
I bet there's at least one main character alien, like a who's the guy with the ridged
Piccolo?
forehead in the
Worf.
Worf. I bet there's like a Worf. Is Worf a Piccolo also?
Yeah.
Yeah, Worf's totally
And
Piccolo.
he's actually also literally black in real life.
That's
Okay.
what Joe calls him. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. No, I was kidding.
Whoa.
Came up with a new derogatory term.
Yeah, we don't. Let's not spread that one.
Wow.
Piccolo is just just a prominent alien figure, essentially.
Yeah, or
He's
like
the
there's been
he's the
times where
bad
he's
guy.
been a vampire, where he's like one of the bad guys who's become good.
Oh,
Yeah, he's the bad
from
guy.
Star? Wait, no, that wasn't Stargate. That was
The strain.
the
It was
Strain.
the strain.
Episode
Yeah.
666.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the strain had a pretty sweet Piccolo. So
Yeah.
it's the guy from the other like universe, like the bad side, but he's like turned.
Yeah. So I think in Babylon 5, I don't know that we have a clear bad guy, but I bet there's an alien main character.
Yeah,
Because I bet there's a lot of different races of aliens.
I think there's a bunch of stuff. Like there's a bunch of aliens. but I'm also betting that all of the aliens stand on 2 feet. That's my bet.
Oh, yeah. I'm into that.
There's no I don't think there's any
Bipeds.
crazy aliens.
They're just
Yeah, they're all like
humanoids.
humanoid. Yeah,
Yeah, they're all
creatures.
just humanoids with ridges on their head or
like every other day, like weekday drama.
Mm-hmm.
they just need
science.
one, just like one that is has a unicycle instead of legs it just has one wheel.
Just one wheel that they roll around
Something
on.
like that. Yeah, I mean just anything to make it not give it wings and 4 arms.
yeah. I bet that they'll all speak English.
Oh, well, I mean to each other. But they probably have their own. Are you saying there
think
would be
they're
no
gonna-
alien languages in the first episode, or what?
Yeah.
So no subtitles, or
No.
or just like an alien speaking and then a guy that speaks English going, "Huh, yeah, I totally get you, Grafnar."
Yeah, I think.
bet there's a
all the
guy named
aliens would just
Grafnar.
speak English, and there won't be any like why don't they have their own languages like every other. Like Star Trek is just like you arrive on some other distant planet, but you can just somehow talk to everybody, and they never really explain why everyone knows English.
I'll take that. I'm gonna take that bet. I think there will be an alien
Think
language.
it's gonna be a language. All right.
Yeah.
I think they make a reference to Babylon 4.
Like the show, or like the other space station.
The
that's
others,
probably
another
like,
space station that are just like, oh, after the failure of Babylon 4, we've really got to make, we got
That's
to make
probably
this
like
happen.
the intro, like after the failure of Babylon 4, built in its place, Babylon 5. It's on the literal gravesite of Babylon 4. Well, I mean, yeah,
Space grave.
space grave. I'm ready to get
I like
into
it.
this. I'm ready to shoot
Yeah.
off into space.
I'm excited. I looked up. So the creator is J. Michael Straczynski,
Love that guy.
Mm-hmm.
and some other films and things that he wrote. He wrote
5 Babylon
he created,
5
wrote,
movies.
produced this. Wrote the screen story for World War Z. Don't know what the difference between. He wrote the screenplay for Underworld Awakening, the story for the first Thor movie, some show called Jeremiah. Have you guys heard of this?
Nope.
Nope, I've heard of a show called Jericho, which is one that we should probably watch sometime.
It had a few seasons. Looks like basically like a Quantum Leap or something. I don't know. He wrote a TV movie for Murder, She Wrote.
Nice.
A bunch of Babylon 5, an episode of Walker, Texas Ranger.
Hell yeah. I'm betting right now that if anyone whoever's week it is, Jimmy's the one picking Walker Texas Ranger.
God, you know it.
Is it your week next week? Because
It is.
I'm gonna call you out.
Wrote a bunch of Twilight Zone episodes back in the day.
Nice.
So it could get weird. He wrote this. These look like animes. She-Ra, Princess of Power, Jason the Wheeled Warriors.
She-Ra, is that a
He-Man.
He-Man?
He wrote 9
Yeah.
She-Ra's a
episodes of
He-Man.
He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
There you go. We have a professional on our hands, guys.
Cool. Good for him. Neat.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
It's gonna be great. Let's blast
We're
off.
having fun.
We have fun here.
Let's put on our astronaut helmets and go into space. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You guys are a lively bunch tonight. All right, we'll be back after episode 1 of Babylon 5. And we're back.
And we're still here.
We have arrived back in the station.
That
the station
was
of Babylon 5.
that was a TV show.
Wow.
I'm going to go
It was.
on a limb right now and say Joe isn't currently pleased.
Really?
I have one big picture question, and that's, what the fuck did I just watch?
I mean, what do you mean? It was people on a space station.
You watched early 90s?
A lot of diplomatic stuff.
I wrote down prequel Trade Federation, the TV show.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
a lot of politics. It was.
Yeah. A lot of politics and a lot of terrible acting and a lot of early 90s like computer game animation.
Oh my God. It was like, man, that was that solid computer animation. That was every computer game in like 1998.
Yeah.
And this was 1993, so they were ahead of the game.
Oh yeah.
Or 1994.
94. Am I in season 5? Here we go. Hold on. Wait for it. Listeners. Wait for it.
What are we waiting for?
I was getting the one sentence Wikipedia thing up.
Oh.
So here's the synopsis from Wikipedia for episode 1, Midnight on the Firing Line. When the Narn attack a Centauri colony, Londo and Jakar, spelled G like apostrophe K-A-R.
Okay.
I thought it was J-A-K-A-R, something like that.
Yeah.
Jafar.
Londo and Jakar nearly come to blows. Meanwhile, raiders are attacking transport ships near the station. And that is it. That is the whole description of this episode. It's really not that bad of a description, technically.
Jakar is the Narn ambassador?
Yes. Jakar is what me and Jimmy described as the Cardassian of the series. You haven't really seen Deep Space Nine,
No.
so you wouldn't know what we're talking about.
See, I thought you were talking about like...
He's the gold ducat of this show.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying he was like the lawyer, like how... What's the name of the Kardashian's dad that was OJ's lawyer?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that's what you meant.
He did yell at some point during this episode if the glove doesn't fit, or if the glove fits a quit, or something. What is it?
I get it. Lawyer character. Got it. If the glove fits, you gotta give it the quits.
You gotta give it a quit. Hit the
gotta-
quit button on your
So
90s
Jakar-
computer game.
So we have like three we've got the humans, and we've got the Narns, the
Yep.
Narnians
What do the Narn look
from
like?
Narnia. They look like
Like snake people?
cheetah print.
yeah,
yeah.
I can see that. Cheetah print snake people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had lizard-like features.
And then the what are the other ones? Are they
the alpha
Centauris?
the
Centauri.
Centauri.
And they
They look like bald people with crazy long hair, without combing
how
it
do you
over.
Explain, yeah. They have
The top is-
horseshoe mullets, but
Yeah,
the
they're
mullet
mostly humans.
is in a mohawk.
Everybody is mostly humans. in
I
this.
guess.
They have like a mullet, but it's like a vertical mullet around the back of their head because
Well,
they have horseshoe baldness.
Imagine if a bald person went bald and they grew out the side of their head hair and how they would normally like the
Yeah, you
classic
can't have it go down the
pathetic
middle.
bald man that would like comb it over.
Yeah.
Instead, they took all of that side hair and put gel in it and made it stick straight 45 degrees out
Yeah,
of their
just
skull.
out of their head. Yeah.
All the way around, except for the front because they're bald.
Yeah.
And it was there's two of them and they both did that.
Yeah, it makes kind of a crown.
Yeah, like a crown of receding hair.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And then there was the French lady from Lost. She was an alien, but I don't remember what kind of alien she was.
No, I don't know if we heard
She
that
was
or not.
also bald,
Yeah.
but had a side crown of like bone.
I was wondering if that's just like that's what the ladies
I
look
thought
like.
it was like a headpiece.
Oh, like maybe she's a Centauri, but that's what a lady Centauri is.
That was my assumption.
Oh,
but I don't-
like that.
I
into it.
I want to think that she's better than the Centauris. She's from it. Also, the fact that
She's totally not.
Garibaldi,
She's totally
what's his
not
name?
in Centauri because she was yelling at the two people about the Centauri and the Narn fighting each other all the time. Like, you two fight each other. Your races keep fighting each other.
Was she in the meeting, the council
Yeah,
meeting?
she was in the meeting.
Of like all the, which I assume was just a bunch of other ambassadors, being like, hey, okay, so
Yeah.
this guy attacked this guy. Like, what are we
I
gonna do
mean, so
about
like
it?
major.
So what's the setup of Babylon 5? Because that intro didn't really do it.
I mean, major setup is the Earth was in a big war.
Yeah.
And they like got over that big war, and they set up Babylon 5 as like their last like vestibule to like bring all of the universe's aliens together.
Yeah.
So they could all like
Yeah.
be peaceful.
It's
It's
a
like the
base
UN.
in neutral
yeah, it's like,
territory.
it's like the UN, space UN.
to prevent wars by just hanging out,
Yeah. But
and
hanging out and
settling
being
your
chill.
differences with your words,
And it's also
like
the
big boys.
it's the last Babylon station.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe, they didn't talk about Babylon 4,
But yeah, this is the final
but
Babylon.
there was a. I mean, this
We
is the
did
fifth
peek
one.
at
It's
some
presumably.
sort of other station that they came upon. Not sure what that was about.
Oh yeah, they found like an old rust. They were like, oh, that one. I don't know what that was either. But I mean, really,
Babylon
so
4.
the Narns, the snake, cheetah, bad I want to call them bad guys, but I mean, who knows? You know,
Yeah, who knows?
The Kardashians.
the Kardashians.
Yeah.
The alien Kardashians. They attacked that Centauri planet, and no one really cared except for the Centauri people, and the humans kind of cared a little bit. And
But
then
no
they
one
had
wants to start a war.
and then they
about
had
it.
a meeting about it.
Yeah.
And they voted not to do anything right away or something like that. So they're like, we won't do anything. But then the humans, because the humans run the station, right? Like, I only saw humans in station, like,
Yeah, like
uniforms.
all the commander people, all the like people in charge seem to be Caucasian Americans.
People of Earth. Yeah.
Garibaldi, however, looks like he wants to be in Die Hard.
He does have like a sad Bruce Willis.
Yeah, I like him a lot. He's fantastic.
You think he's making the? You think he's gonna make it to the end?
Yeah, I gotta predict.
You gotta
about
predict
that.
about that. All
I gotta
right.
predict about that. And then the other side thing is there was like raiders or space pirates. I guess I don't know what they are, but like they called them raiders. They were attacking freighters.
Raiders
So
on the
maybe
freighters,
we'll
man.
have-
Raiders.
Maybe we'll have some space pirate person later. We didn't
Later?
see the main. Dang it!
What happened? I don't understand.
We got raiders on the freighters that we're gonna see later.
Spitting rhymes.
Oh,
Um,
watch out! It's a flash flood of rhymes.
I was just gonna say because you said there was gonna be a pirate character, main character.
Who gets eaten by an alligator?
Son of a... that was a reach.
Pirate, alligator.
Did we have other?
Yeah, that doesn't rhyme.
Were there other? So there was Commander Jeffrey Sinclair. He seemed like the captain to me.
Yeah,
of
he was
the-
he was in charge.
He was in charge, and then you had the Garibaldi guy, and I don't understand what really his role is.
I assume he was like security officer.
Okay.
He was the Odo of Babylon 5.
Oh man, I don't know if he's good
He's not.
enough to be
I didn't say he
Odo.
was as dope as Odo, but
I don't know what an Odo is.
He's the shape-shifting
yeah, I should probably.
security guy in Deep Space Nine.
I'm really flinging this mad podcast.
this
Like
podcast-
people have also
Space
watched
Nine
Deep
and
Space
The
Nine.
link of this podcast is going to have a disclaimer that if you haven't watched DS9, you probably should before
Also-
Yeah, watch all of DS9, then listen to this pod.
and listen to this episode.
Listen to all of Deep Space Nine, then the first episode of Babylon 5, then the last episode of Babylon 5, and a sprinkle and an elf.
just get an Alf cleanser in there. Take a little Alf break.
Elf break.
What's Babylon in the Bible? Is that like a place where people meet up and try to work things out?
There's the Babylonians who
Yeah.
were a real people
Well,
who
the-
just like
And like that was like the Tower of Babel, which is where all the languages came together.
That's what I'm thinking of.
And then God like blew it up or something. Or no,
man.
no. The Tower of Babel was when they tried to make all the people in the, Jimmy, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to go with
I won't.
okay. Oh, Tower of Babel, all the people of the world because they all spoke the same language because everyone used to speak the same language. Started building a tower up to God.
This is when there was Pangea, so everyone was a lot closer.
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone built the tower up to God. So they tried to do that so they could but they were getting really close. So God like broke the tower and then made everybody speak different languages. So then no one could understand each other anymore. So then they couldn't work together to get to him.
Interesting. So God does not want us to work together in harmony.
Not to find him.
Okay. He's like, you guys work together, but like, stay out of my room.
Yo, work together for a different cause. Like build a bunch of good, nice ramblers, but not a tower. Getting too close to me.
So other characters, as I was saying, there was a telepath who entered like halfway through. She's from the Psi Corps.
It was the Jean Grey of this episode, I would say.
I
Hey,
didn't
Joe.
catch her
Yes,
name,
you would.
and by the episode cast, I cannot tell because the show so long ago.
I totally forgot what her name was.
Was it
No.
Talia? Winters.
Yeah, that's her. That's
Okay.
her.
Then she's gonna be pretty bomb.
She reminded me of I said she seemed like she would be one of Jerry Seinfeld's girlfriends on Seinfeld. Just like how she looked and how she acted. And then Jerry would have Jerry would have broken up with her because she like walked funny or something.
She reads minds.
Yeah.
She in this show she stopped Londo somehow. She like knew that Londo was gonna go try to shoot Jakar.
Well, that wasn't somehow. She read his mind.
Well, yeah, so she read his mind, but then she was like, but she read his mind like in passing when he was like entering the elevator. But then she's like, Garibaldi, and then the next scene is Garibaldi is like catching him already on that floor.
What are you like? You say somehow like you're baffled at this. Like she touched him, read his mind, and then she probably
flip cell phone.
They're on a space station. They got a They got a wireless communication.
Yeah, but we never saw any communication.
Well,
that's all I'm saying.
That was an extra.
I wanted to see a touch the Star Trek symbol, or put the hand up to the ear, Garibaldi.
You just
Roger.
You're really going
Roger
with like
that.
you're really going with this like if you didn't see it on the TV show, it never happened, and you don't believe
I
it.
just would like some explanation. That's all. They're in a space station. I want to know what the science is. I want to know the tech. Man, we're in year
Show me more of the
2258. By the way, I wrote that down. We gotta have some pretty sweet tech. In 200 years.
I mean, it would be maybe slightly different, but I didn't think about that since we have and had the tech to tell somebody from far away something quick for about 100 years now.
In 1993, on a landline.
I'm sure she wasn't that far away from a landline, if that's all they used on the Babylon 5.
I don't know that Talia Winters was in Seinfeld, but she was in 24.
Not interested. I have a question about people on shows.
Okay.
And this is directly related to Talia Winters. Has there ever been a show that starts off with like a couple people and they're all just friends and they know each other, and then there's not a new person that's introduced to like change? Dawson's Creek, Jen gets introduced. Breaking Bad, Jesse Pinkman gets introduced.
Oh, like in the first episode.
Like there's
there's
always like they always use a person as a catalyst to like be like, ooh, what's this?
Change
like,
up the situation.
Does this happen like Family Matters? The mom comes over.
Yeah.
The mom moves in. Perfect Strangers. One of the main characters
The whole premise.
travels the whole premise of the
He's
show.
a perfect stranger.
Frasier moves back to his dad moves in.
You're just now finding shows in which that happens. I feel like
you're looking for a
We're
show
24 episodes into this podcast, and I think that's every single show we've seen.
You're looking for a show where like the main crew is already set up before we start
Power
the show.
Rangers, Zordon shows up. And Rita.
What about Entourage?
Entourage?
I think they're already like rolling by the time we start, right? They've been hanging out.
I hate that you used Entourage for the example, but
That is correct.
You might have
Jeremy
known.
Piven
But he's already
he's
their,
already the
he's
agent.
already their agent.
Yeah. That's the one. That's the winner.
They buy a dog.
The dog is new.
The dog shows up.
The dog is-
Got it. Nailed it.
Rachel shows up at the beginning of Friends.
Is that who it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she's like running away from her life.
Mm.
She's like about to get
Yeah,
married.
and so it's not necessarily that they don't know the person, but it's like a human or maybe a dog is the catalyst. It's like a thing. I would say, yeah, maybe I can't remember Entourage that well. So maybe Entourage is the actual only example. Stargate SG-1, that Teok guy, their Piccolo.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot going on in
Yeah.
Stargate SG-1.
But I'm just saying, that happened too.
That's a tough one.
None of those people knew each other.
It's very interesting. I don't know why I thought about it now, but
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, this chick. And she's not necessarily the one driving the whatever. I'm just curious. I'm like, I want to watch a show now where
I
they
think
just don't introduce a new person to the group.
part of that trope, I think, is so that especially like if we take the example of Friends, so like these people have known each other for a while and they've been hanging out for a while. If you introduce a new character, then the characters have to introduce themselves to this new character, right? So
Right.
through Rachel, we're meeting these friends.
Right. Well, I want to watch a show where there's a writer so good.
That he's
That-
able to introduce you to a group of people without having a
A very obvious catalyst. To do it.
without having a character avatar for us.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, let's watch Entourage again.
No! Don't do it! Also, Babylon 5 brought up a question for me as well. Another one. Why do humans always have to be the peacekeepers?
Because that we will identify with them immediately.
I mean, I get it. But come on. It's very, maybe for non-American, like, viewers and listeners, it's a very, like, 50s and, 50s, 40s, 30s American vibe of, like, I mean,
American power and
even really
leadership.
now, or, like, American power and leadership, and we, like, police the world.
Right.
You know, if something's wrong in the world, I mean, it still happens today, of course, like the Iraq War, and like, you know, this is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We have to go fix it. Then we stay there forever. But like now it happens a lot in TV shows, and obviously they're American TV shows, and it happens like that. But it's just always interesting that there's never a TV show that has a perspective of like, what if it was humans on a very powerful. Star Trek almost did it with like the Vulcans were kind of like that in a way. But once but that was never happening in Star Trek. It was like, hey, the Vulcans showed us how space travel worked and like guided us, and now we can space travel, and now we police the things. And the Vulcans like are our allies, but we now police. I want to see a show that like kind of has the humans in the back seat of like, we're helping, but we're not the superpower. I mean, we can be super powerful, but like we're not the ones that are in charge of keeping the peace and doing that. We're just doing our thing. We're just trying to we're the Ferengi. We're just trying to get by.
Aw. I don't ever want to see a show where we're the Ferengi.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. But I mean it's very prevalent in space shows.
Yeah.
Where there's aliens, because then, I mean, it makes sense because the good guys are the humans and you're trying to be with them. I'm curious to see something that's different. Do you care? You're like, nah, everything's, TV's fine.
No, I'm intrigued by that premise. I was just trying to see if if that relates back to Entourage at all. I don't think it does.
Yeah, the dog isn't in charge ever, unfortunately. How can this relate back to Entourage? Well, I ranted for a little bit. Does anyone else have thoughts or feelings?
So you said when Wando, is it Wando or Londo?
Londo Calrissian.
Where's Wando?
The weird Lithuanian vampire character. What? He was the only person from his country or planet or whatever that had an accent. Did you notice that? He had an inexplicably Russian accent.
I just don't think I paid attention to the other guy that was from his planet because I thought he looked like he was like not Will Sasso. He was the other one from like SNL or Mad TV. God, who did he look like?
Jim Carrey.
No,
that was in Living Color.
He looked like the other funny fat guy from like SNL. I can't remember what his name is.
I don't know.
Horatio Sands. Is that it?
Tonight's guest.
So
Show.
Wando, when Wando shows up, you're like, oh, this is the main guy.
Oh, I just said that like that's.
Oh.
I didn't say that.
Oh, you didn't?
All right, maybe I said it
I
wrong.
heard you say it.
I think because you guys were talking about how there was going to be main aliens.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, this is obviously a main alien.
Malians.
So do you know if Wando is a main character or not?
I feel like him and
You got
that
predictions?
Jakar guy are main aliens, and I think they all stick around.
Because
Ooh.
in reference to Londo, I wrote down, this is the fucking guy. Like, you're going to base a show around this guy?
I can't imagine.
I bet
he's
he's around a bunch.
Oh man.
He's in the last episode, according to my predictions.
He's just got to be like a wacky guy, right? He can't be like a serious character, right?
He seems
Right.
like he's.
Hey man, I don't know.
I think he's the. I think he's the junk man, the Lost in Space junk man of this series. I think he's just the
You
wacky
want some
guy.
beef stroganoff?
He's the 1994 wacky guy who's just bouncing in and out of shows. That's what I think.
Yeah, he just struck me as like super goofy. That was just like they can't possibly like run 5 seasons of this guy being a big part of the show.
He's in it for sure. I'm telling you. I'm going with it. He's in it.
Well,
He's part of my very first prediction.
Are we?
one of my predictions goes against that, so
Yeah.
we'll
good.
see.
Was that your like one main thing about this first ep?
Just that, and it looks like it was filmed in a laser tag arena.
Yes.
Just every part
Man,
of the set
add
looked like
some-
laser tag.
Add some fog to the set, and you got a mad laser tag arena. You're right. That's awesome. I'm into that.
Special thanks to Brunswick Zone.
Jimmy, got anything?
Based off this episode,
Do you,
it took a long time to get going. I felt like the first half I was like, where are the tacos? The tacos can't arrive fast enough. But by the end I was like, I was starting to feel it.
in my thought of picking the show, I'm like, this is a Jimmy show.
There's a lot of exposition that they had to do at the beginning to like set it up.
I guess.
I mean, it wasn't there.
I
There's
don't
a
know
line.
if they needed that.
Yeah, there's a line I remember where they're talking about the attack on Ragarush 3 or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and the one guy goes,
Ragu 3.
Ragu 3,
Ragnar.
you know, our agriculture colony. And then Wando's like, yeah, I knew that. It's like one of those obvious lines where like a character is telling someone something they already know just for the sake of exposition.
For art, yeah.
But then they went the extra step of telling us that no, the guy knows it already.
Yes. He's familiar.
You know our agricultural? Yeah. You
Yeah,
know.
I fucking know, man. My name's Wando.
Wando Calcrishkian.
I'm not sure how this went 102 episodes or 5 movies.
Yeah,
Or-
wow.
Also, I looked into there was spin-off stuff. There was a season or 13 episodes worth of a show called Crusade that was like right after this that was supposed to be like 5 years after. And there's a bunch of stuff there. Like I found like on Wikipedia a chronological like how you should watch it because they're all like out of order.
You really like that chronological.
I do like doing the chronological stuff. I did all of Star Trek that way.
Yeah. That's
Except
why I
I
know
didn't-
you like doing that.
I didn't go and watch Enterprise. I never watched Enterprise.
I liked Enterprise. I watched Enterprise.
Because all of that is
Yeah.
original. I wasn't having that.
Enterprise tries to explain why the Klingons in the first series and then Next Gen look
Looked
different.
totally different.
Yeah, they try to explain that away.
That's fun.
They don't do a terrible job,
Do they just some evolution?
but I don't think
line?
they explain why the Klingons in Star Trek Discovery now also look different.
Oh, have you been watching that?
No, I haven't seen any of it. I've just seen like a picture, and I know people
I
are talking
wanna
about the
watch that.
Klingons. I want to see it too. Quick little fun thing before we get into predictions. I'm just going to tell a little story. Listeners, everyone in this room knows, but I broke my foot,
I'm listening.
which was great. Yeah, Jimmy, get 2 of them.
3.
Oh yeah, 3 of them. Joe's here too. So I broke my foot, so I went to the doctor 2 days ago or whatever to get it checked out because I couldn't walk anymore. And I was like, "Doctor, I broke my foot." And he looks at me, and he's an old doctor guy, and he goes, "Was this alcohol related?" And I was like, "No, I was walking to my car in the morning to go to work." And he said, "That didn't answer my question." And I was pretty salty about that.
What was he even asking about that? It's just like,
I don't know. He had like a smirk on
like, just fix my foot, man.
he had a smirk on his face when he said it, like the whole time, but like it was just funny.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Is this alcohol related?"
Was it though?
No, God, I was gonna go to work.
Was it?
I wish
it.
I wish it was alcohol related, but would have been cooler. But so yeah, that's my story on how I broke my foot.
How I broke my foots.
Didn't actually tell anybody how I broke my foot or anything like that, but
Bloody stump of a foot over
like,
here.
yeah, that's how I got my foot amputated. I said yes to the alcohol, and the doctor was like, "We're cutting it off."
No. Josh has been making us put like country crock on his foot all night.
I like the sheen.
It's also high in calcium.
Love.
He did stuff.
He did tell me to drink.
That stuff was terrible. For
He
you?
did tell me to drink milk.
Yeah.
The doctor told me to drink milk. He literally said, "He's like, you got a fracture in your foot. Drink some milk, because you can't make chocolate chip cookies without chocolate chips. Same thing for the bones. You need calcium." And I was like, "How many fucking people have you told that to?"
One more.
Yeah. Well, I take a multivitamin, but I don't think it like seeps into my body well.
No.
I think you need to wash down with some
Vitamins,
milk.
Well, like you need like
you
need
just
like a
poop those right
you
out.
need like a yeah, because like the hard, it's like because you can easily crush it up into like chalk kind of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the way you should take a multivitamin. You should like crush it up into
And
chalk
snort it.
and snort it up your asshole.
You're snorting up. You're like
Yeah.
sucking in.
Yeah, you
through
don't
your
snort out,
butthole?
Jimmy. Come on.
Okay,
Yeah.
but your butt.
Just right through your rectum and up into your
You
large
don't.
intestine.
You don't butt chug your multivitamin.
You'd probably absorb it better that way. Because really,
That's what I'm saying,
They
yeah.
say that you just flush them right out because your body has no chance to absorb them.
Yeah.
Like you maybe absorb some of it.
Right. Well, so I looked at that and it says it gives me like 21% of my daily like calcium.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, that means I'm only getting 21% of calcium a day. Because I'm
That's
trying to
it.
figure out where the hell
It's a good
cheese.
Yeah,
Like,
cheese.
cheese.
Yeah.
Like cheese.
Next week, I'm bringing a block of cheese
I'm in.
for your foot.
I need it. Butter it up and put it on my foot.
Put it in his butt.
Butter it up and put it on my
Next
butt.
week, we're gonna put up. Stay tuned, listeners.
That's going to be our first video podcast.
Oh no!
Immediately off YouTube.
Never getting rid of that explicit warning.
By the way, if you want to listen to this on YouTube, search Tiger Castle. And then from that,
And
you'll find the
search
first and last.
butt chug block of cheese.
Don't search that anywhere. Don't ever search that. All right, we need to get to predictions now.
Oh shit.
This is a conversational podcast.
This has to be.
Not just-
This has to be a rifle through.
Joe, let's go with you first.
Number 1, no wacky hair, which I think rules out the entire Centauri.
So you think they've been wiped off
No
out of
wacky hair.
existence?
I mean, I think there's bald people. I think you might get some. Like,
No one's ever called a bald person and go, "Whoa, that's a wacky hair, bro."
Yeah, I think specifically hair you wouldn't find on Earth. Like you'll see people with like long hair on top
We'll
and
know,
like
we'll
shaved
know, we'll know.
sides. No wacky hair. Number 2, the Narn ambassador, whose name is Jakar, I believe now,
Yep.
is a main character. Like he's a full-on dude.
He's already a main character, I think.
But I think by the end he's like,
Okay.
there's maybe only 1 or 2 characters above him, and he's just like a fucking guy.
Sure.
And number 3, octopus monster.
Nice.
Man, one day.
I think in general, though, I think it's gonna be the vibe is gonna be different in that it's gonna be a much smaller cast. In this, they had a lot of extras walking around to give the feel of like, ooh, it's a bustling like
Yeah.
hub.
Busy station.
But I think by the end, either we're like stuck in a spaceship or we just don't see anyone else, and it's just a few people.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm just always afraid of a clip
watch
show.
That.
Oh, Babylon 5
man.
clip show.
Sci-fi clip show. I don't think that's been done before.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm just not a prediction, but it can't be any worse, clip show or not, than the end of Stargate SG-1. Worst.
Just another Stargate adventure.
Oh my
That
god.
was pretty rough.
You
That's
were-
right. I forgot about the clip show.
Which-
I mean, it's basically.
Well, Stargate wasn't a clip show. It was the most boring
But
thing
they-
ever.
weren't
You weren't
they-
there
didn't
for that.
they-
Was that Does that mean you and
That
Barry?
was
Yeah,
Barry.
yeah.
That was Barry.
Did
but
you watch
I,
it on your own?
But I watched it on my own.
Nice.
There you go.
I went back.
Way to do your
Trooper.
homework.
And I thought that while they were stuck in the ship at the end, they were going back and remembering stuff.
Oh,
so not
they
like
did.
a clip
Yeah,
show,
yeah.
but
Not Felicity types of clips.
yeah.
It's a reminisce show.
Yeah, it was a reminisce show. Jimmy, what are your predicts?
Okay, my predicts are that the Commander Jeffrey Sinclair guy is dead or gone.
Nice.
I think the lady commander,
I was
Lieutenant Commander, sassy Lieutenant Commander Susan
Ivanovov?
Yuzhvanovich.
Okay.
I think she's taken lady charge.
Mm.
I think she's the commander of the station now.
She leads like a lady.
She had a little thing. She had a little moment with telepath lady. What was that about?
Oh, she doesn't like telepaths because her like sister was one. And then
I don't work with the males because I used to be one.
wait, what?
Mrs. Doubtfire?
Yeah. I just don't know where that came from. Did I say it like that?
So telepaths.
She doesn't like telepaths because they think her sister or somebody in her family was one.
Yeah.
And on Earth, since everyone got X-Men like powers, Joe.
Yeah, right.
That you had like three options. That you either like went to prison or got killed. You joined like the telepath academy, or you
the Psi Corps.
yeah, the Psi Corps, or you got like hot beef injections your entire life. Or you got like a psionic like injection or whatever until you like didn't have powers
So you couldn't
anymore.
have powers, yeah.
But it was like people that are, like people that like have like take depression like things and they like can't feel anything. It sounded like that's kind of what it did.
It sounded like
When you
to
take
me,
medication, you don't feel anymore.
you just don't feel feelings,
Yeah.
so that you don't have depression.
You
It sounded to me like the same exact thing as the Benedict Cumberbatch character in the Imitation Game, where they find out he's gay, which is a true story, where like they break the Enigma
Benedict
code in
Cumberbatch.
World War II, the German Enigma machine, but they like found out like if you were gay, they'd give you these like hormone injections that they thought would like cure you of your gayness, but they just like were killing you, and he just died, a young man. I mean, not that young, but
Spoiler.
yeah, this is a real thing that happened. This is in England. This is like you think of like as a thinking.
That's why we
place.
that's why we want our freedom from them, because they were doing terrible things back then.
In the 1950s.
It's never too late to win your freedom, Jimmy. My
Oh,
prediction. Oh wait, no.
Oh, I had one more.
Okay, what is it?
But basically, Joe stole it because I said the Narnians
Yeah.
are still around and kicking ass,
Okay.
and that like, so I think there's like a huge war. I think they go full on DS9, and that by the end of this show, it's just a crazy, insane war, and that Jakar is like a major, prominent guy.
Cool. I'm gonna do a fun thing.
Okay.
I think all three of mine are super fun.
All right.
Number 1, Jakar versus Londo. They will die with their hands around each other's throats.
Oh.
As in Londo's, like, he said at some point the Centauri, like, see their own deaths or something.
Mm-hmm.
And in the first episode, he said, 20 years from now, we will die with our hands around each other's throats. I think that will
So you
happen.
think in 5 seasons, 20 years will pass?
I think it'll be like a flash forward type thing. Like,
All right.
I think that's why I think that's going to happen. And then therefore I'm worried about a clip show, as in like maybe they're old.
You think maybe they're like embracing while like their spaceships exploding, and that's why their hands are around their necks?
Yeah.
They're hugging.
I say they're going to die.
Do you
I
think
just
they
said they
kiss?
will die with their, I just said they will die with their hands around their throats.
All right.
I didn't say they were choking each other. I said they'll
Let's
die.
see. Yeah.
Number 2, Garibaldi has a dope ass scar. I'm
Cool.
thinking more of a face scar, but
Okay.
I think he's
So
in
not
it.
a dope ass scar.
Yeah, yeah. He uses his ass for his multivitamins, not for his scars. So he's got a sweet face scar.
Okay.
And then my third one is that Joe only scores 1 out of the 3 points for his predictions.
Oh, it's like a logic puzzle.
What?
Joe had 3 predictions, and I think only one of his is right. So
I hope it's Octopus Monster.
I hope that one's right too. So I think you only score 1 out of 3 points.
All right.
And with that, I'll score another point as well.
Wow, you're like stealing points.
Yeah, it's essentially point steals.
It's a point thief.
Come back for our spin-off episode. It's Point Thieves. First and last. Point Thieves.
Point thieves, like not thieves.
Thieves.
Yeah. Thieves was already taken, so we just made it Point
The
Thieves.
podcast Point Thieves was taken, so we did Point Thieves.
It's true that all the names are taken already.
All right. Let's just watch this episode, huh?
Let's get it.
If Londo is in this episode,
Keep going.
I don't.
Walking out. Just
I-
walking out of this apartment.
I might leave. I might not be back for the second half.
Just go on without me.
Challenge. Challenge.
Listeners, maybe see you next week.
Maybe not. Hey, man. We can always get Claire
Stay
back.
classy.
All right. We will see you after the final episode of Babylon 6. I mean 5. 5.
Maybe,
Five.
maybe.
The music's playing now. Come on.
Yeah.
Babylon 5, The Return of Babylon 4. Speaking of being back, we're back from the final episode of First and Last.
And we're back.
Well, it's not the final episode of the podcast. It's the final episode of
This is it? We
Babylon.
did it?
No. Lies.
You made it to the end.
We're done with Babylon 5. We finished it. We beat it. Space is won.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. If well, they must have come to a truce.
With who? Who
Well,
and
yeah,
who?
the
Space.
Shadow War is over.
The Shadow War is over,
We were told that in a voiceover.
and now we have the Alliance.
Which John Sheridan is the president
Was spoiler.
And John Sheridan
Wah, wah,
is
wah.
of. Not in the first episode like I thought he was for the first
He's a
45
brand new
minutes of this
character.
episode.
the president of the Interstellar Alliance,
That is who
who
John
totally became Susan Ivanova.
Oh, is that what Ivanov came?
Yeah, totally. So I get a point.
Sure, whatever, Jimmy.
God damn it! Come on.
Nearing the end, here's the synopsis. Nearing
was
the end
wearing
of his I'm reading
Okay,
the
go ahead, go for it.
synopsis, Jimmy.
All right.
Nearing the end of his 20-year life extension, Sheridan bids his farewells to all his friends and family, while the now obsolete Babylon 5 is prepared for decommissioning. And when they mean decommissioning, they mean exploded.
They just
It gonna get
exploded
exploded.
Yeah, they exploded it.
Yeah. So
Just shooting space rubble everywhere. They apparently in 98 or whatever didn't have the foresight of the problems that we have now with just rubble just flying all around our atmosphere, and it's
I mean, we just launched a Tesla into space. It's just floating around with a dummy in it.
that's so stupid.
I
The
heard
car.
I saw like a tweet that someone sent and was like, they were like, Elon Musk just got away with the world's perfect case of murder. Like, like as in like there's a body in that spacesuit of a dead human, and he launched it into space. I was like, God, it's perfect.
Seemed like a long way to go, just to murder a human. I feel like it's a lot easier.
I think
to
it was
murder
just
a human.
I think it was just to hide the body. I'm sure the guy was dead.
That's what I mean. I feel like there's a lot.
Or what
easier
if
ways
it's like
to
still
hide a
alive?
body.
And he launched
he
him
put
into space.
he put
Oh,
air in it. The
way
guy's
even
still
more
alive.
of a perfect crime.
Holy shit!
He's not even been murdered yet. He's
Yeah.
probably still going right now, orbiting the sun.
No, I heard it's going to Mars.
It's
Right?
in orbit though, like
Oh.
we all are. Everything's in orbit.
Yeah, if you believe in
No, it's
Yeah,
in orbit, but it
some-
may hit Mars.
If your Earth isn't flat, I guess, Jimmy.
Yeah.
while it's in its orbit, its path could run into Mars. Is what the thing is.
So it's in orbit around the sun or the Earth?
We're in the universe, in our solar system.
We shot it
we're
out.
all orbiting the sun.
Well, what I'm saying is the Elon Musk Tesla car got shot out far enough into space that it's not in Earth's orbit. It's in the sun's orbit.
Correct.
Okay.
That's how it's going to possibly hit Mars. Probably hit Mars. Eventually.
Hit Mars.
Someday. Babylon 5.
Yeah, so Sheridan, who was a totally new character introduced
Johnny
in season
Cher.
2 that I looked up. I really thought he was. I
thought he was Jeffrey
I thought he
Sinclair,
was.
I
I
think.
thought he was Jeffrey Sinclair. Yeah. He got like he got a 20-year life rejuvenation potion from a goat alien. and then it was nearing the end of his 20 years as he was president of the new alliance, which they definitely had something called a shadow war.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
sounds pretty cool.
The Shadow War is over.
The shadow wars have been won.
And it was over in like 2261. So like 3 years after episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like that was probably a really big focus of the actual show.
Of that first 3 seasons,
Yeah.
potentially. That's interesting.
And then so he's about to die, so he like sent letters to all his friends from Babylon 5, and then they all had like a nice dinner, and then he said goodbye to his wife, who was the lady from Lost,
Delenn. Mira Furlan is her name.
and then he went to Babylon 5 alone, just look around, and then die in orbit in a planet. And then the goat man came and took him away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He closed his eyes and then he went to goat heaven.
Yeah, he went to Gevin.
He opened
All
them
hail
seconds later
Gevin.
to go to the rim, out to the outer rim or whatever,
The
goat.
deep space.
deep space rim,
Mm-hmm.
butt stuff. I'm sorry. What else? Oh, and Miss Furlan, Mira Furlan, Delenn does have actual head ridges. Those totally weren't. It was not just a headpiece. Not
Yeah,
just
part of her
I said it was
helmet.
bone.
I know what you said.
Okay.
And I didn't think it looked like that in that first episode. I think she was bald in that first episode for some reason.
I think she looked better bald.
Yeah, I agree.
Joe?
Yeah.
You
I
like,
don't know.
you like hair on your women?
You can go either way.
Sexist.
She looks great.
Sexist.
Both times looks fantastic.
All right.
Yeah, that's all right. Oh, and also we had a little Jeff Conaway, aka Kaniki from Grease, was apparently a huge character in this show named Zach Allen.
Yeah, I didn't know that guy. You were the only one out of us that was like, that guy's from Greece. And we're like, what?
Yeah, I looked it up.
Well, when you said it, I was like, that guy does look like Kaneki from Grease. What a weird reference to make. Like, I thought you were just joking.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But he wasn't.
It was definitely, he was Grease Lightning up in this.
DJ
Up
boy,
in this
I'm a
biz.
fight.
Yes.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
He probably got Rizzo pregnant in this.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, wait, but at the end, it was just a false alarm.
Oh, cool. Everything just
Let's
worked
watch
out.
Grease after this. What are you guys doing?
I'm going to watch Babylon
I'm
5.
gonna watch 5.
I'm going to watch the first movie,
seasons.
Babylon 5 movie, followed by the last
Yeah.
Babylon 5 movie.
Technically, so I was reading, there's like the chronological order of how you're supposed to watch it, and that first movie, Babylon 5, The Gathering, right? It's called
Magic, Babylon 5,
on
The
the
Gathering.
Wikipedia. It's called the pilot movie. So technically, we should have watched that first.
Rule number 1 about first and last is never admit you're wrong.
No, well, it's not the show. After that, they commissioned the show, but so Earth,
Also, did they make the movie and then they made the show?
yeah, the movie was from '93, February of '93.
So that was just like a standalone movie that they made.
yeah, But apparently they made it
Were they
as like a pilot to
Were they-
launch a series.
Were the same
But
people
it's
in
a
it?
full length.
Was
I think
Garibaldi in
I
it?
think. Okay, hold on.
Was Garibaldi in it,
Hold
Jamie?
on.
Was he in the movie?
The Gathering pilot.
Was John Bon Jovi Garibaldi
Starring.
in it?
People.
That's what it says?
No, I just
IMDb's
don't know.
going really downhill.
I didn't write what Jeffrey Sinclair's real name was, so I don't actually know.
Not important. All right, moving
Synopsis.
on. You've lost my interest, so you've definitely lost the audience's interest.
Yeah, Sinclair is in it. He's a thing. There's Narn and Centauri. And-
So humans. So there's alien space races.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe I'll watch it one day.
Mabes.
Maybe
I bet you will.
I might. You know.
What's his name?
Garibaldi
is in
it's
it.
just phonics, man. Just read it
I
out loud.
can't
Garibaldi.
say it.
Is that like a common Italian name, or?
Garibaldi. You tell us.
Because the only reason I
You
know,
just
You
say it.
telling us, Campaseri?
there's a fast Italian like food chain in the Chicago suburbs called Garibaldi's, and that's my association to Garibaldi.
I thought you were gonna say Sabaros. I don't know why.
Is it good?
Oh, it's super good.
What is it? Sandwiches? Spaghetti.
No, yeah, it's all of that. Sandwiches, spaghetti, pizza. It's Italian food, fast.
How is it compared to? Oh shoot, I lost it. What's the name of the?
Devani's?
Arby's.
It's kind of like a Devani's.
Oh, okay. I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say. Dang it!
Sabaro?
It's right on the tip of my tongue.
I said Sabaro.
Well, there's Girardelli's or whatever. Girardelli's.
Giordano's. That's the deep dish pizza place.
But there's a Chicago chain that they just put one in.
Tune in next week
Minnesota.
when Jimmy learns what
Portillo's?
the restaurant's
Portillo's.
name.
Ah.
Isn't Portillo's like a hot dog place?
Yeah.
They have hot dogs. They have other stuff.
I would only eat a hot dog at Portillo's if I ever went.
It's great.
I want to go to @Greg Miller. We're going to
Let's go to
Portillo's one
Chicago
day.
and just eat and have heart attacks and die.
There's like one person that will understand the reference I just made.
Nope.
You guys don't.
I didn't hear it.
We'll tweet at Greg Miller.
So
He's a good man.
Garaggiano is in it. Sinclair is in it.
Oh, this is the movie still?
Jakar is in it. Delenn is in it. Headridge Lady. Londo's in it. I don't want to watch this movie now.
Wando.
Done.
Wandos.
Done with it.
Man, I think I got nothing. Yeah, I mean, it was a fine. It seemed like it was like a good wrap up. It seems like Jack Sheridan or John Sheridan,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Seems like he became extremely important in this show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, he showed up in season 2
And took over.
and just took Babylon 5 by storm. That's what I would say.
I got that vibe.
War hero sounds like. President of the Alliance, general, all around good looking man.
He had a good beard at the end there.
Had a good old man's beard. Deep like rugged voice. He could have lived in the woods and chopped down his own trees, I would say.
He's a man of the woods.
So, well,
What's Aragorn's name?
What, Viggo Mortensen?
He had a Viggo Mortensen vibe for me.
Yeah.
I'm
A
not mad
little
about
less
that.
wild.
Definitely less wild. Viggo Mortensen usually had
That's
longer
pretty
hair.
wild.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if he would have grown his hair out a little bit.
Yeah.
And he was in space. I've never seen Viggo Mortensen in space.
Can you imagine?
Whatever.
Listeners at home, tweet us if you can imagine Viggo Mortensen
Tweet us,
in space.
tweet us your fan art and fanfic of Viggo Mortensen in space. We'll read it on air.
just an audio book of Viggo Mortensen space fanfic.
If we get a fanfic of Viggo Mortensen in space, I'll make a special episode, first and last, reading that fanfic. I'll need a...
You asked for it, and now we're doing it.
Yeah, you guys asked for it, so we'll do it.
Really, any Viggo Mortensen fanfic. Yeah.
But at least let them make... If it's not going to be in space, let them, like, ponder space on land or something. Like, put this sentence in your fanfic. He looked up into the night sky and wondered, what if? And that's all I need, and I'll read it.
Wonder what he's doing right now. He might be in space.
You might be pondering, what if?
So predictions? Or is there anything else
Yeah, I
in
mean,
that episode? I mean,
it was just like a solid, probably farewell episode. The only thing that I have really to say about it was they specifically said when Sheridan went to Babylon 5 and it was like completely empty because they were decommissioning it. That word, they wasn't being decommissioned. They exploded it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
They blew that shit up.
the guy in the space station, like the cleanup crew guy, was like, yeah, there's no one here. We're just getting it ready. It can't be here anymore because it's like in the way. He literally said something like, it would be hell for trade routes, or it would be hell for transportation, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the space station would be in the way of spaceships trying to travel.
right.
The space station's been there for 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
They
Go around it.
They're used to it.
Yeah.
They always go around it. And then they blew it up.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's just fucking pieces of a space station floating around. What you think if you're flying around your warp speed or whatever, and you hit a giant piece of shrapnel, you're dead.
You got shields.
I thought they were gonna like
22.
tow
80.
it somewhere or
Yeah.
something.
They-
But they,
sure.
You just gotta push it a little bit and it'll like
Yeah, it'll
fall
go.
Yeah.
away, right?
I'm sure it has a thrust motion on it, right?
You just push it.
It's got a propellant somewhere. I didn't like that. I didn't like that they blew it up. There's definitely a finality to it, though.
That's
You know.
true.
Yeah. Should we do like general thoughts about it now before predicts?
Sure. Oh, sure.
Like it struck me as like a really well done like episode, or maybe like if I would extrapolate from this, like really well done show for what they had in terms of budget and
Dude, those 90s
Time
computer
constraints.
graphics were back in the last episode.
Yeah.
With a force. It was just like they had
Should've
the
had a
same
predict about
computer
that.
from 94, but they added like 20 times more RAM to it so
Yeah.
they could add more spaceships on the screen at once.
like I didn't know a lot of what was going on, but there were just like little bits of it that were just like well done. How they said goodbye, like each character had a little moment before the end of the episode where they're all kind of like meta saying goodbye, and then even just like a lot of the hokey stuff going on, like even amongst that, like I felt like the acting was pretty good. Even though I like don't have a background of these characters, I just like there's a certain gravitas to the what's his name, John something,
Sheridan.
John Sheridan character, where it gave me a feeling of like a captain going down with a ship, like reaching his end.
He was definitely important from like scene 1, like to me. Yeah.
Yeah, like without even knowing who this dude is, I'm just like, oh, this seems like a big deal that this guy's like just facing his fate. And like there's that little moment at the end where the bonehead lady's like sitting on the bench like staring at the sunrise, and then
Yeah.
like she sees the guy next to her, but then they like cut over and he's not there. Like it's just like
Yeah.
little stuff like that
The
like
ghost of Sheridan.
yeah, it's just like little like flourishes like that you wouldn't expect to see in like a cheap looking show like this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, and that's the one thing I like read about the show while we were watching it, is that it was one of the first shows to like really do major story arcs in sci-fi shows.
Uh-huh.
Like you said in the last episode, Jimmy, that each season has its own name.
Yeah.
There's a subtitle for every single season. So there's definitely like they're telling giant stories
Mm-hmm.
through the thing, and I mean they're referencing a big giant war, which presumably sounds like it happened in the show. And
I think
guess
I think another thing that helped was I thought the music was really good in this episode. Like like there's a lot of like no dialogue, kind of quiet moments in this show where like they just like kind of let the score run and like people are looking off into the sunset, and it's like I don't know. I thought it was
I mean,
well put together for what it was.
they almost bookend the show twice, where in the beginning he like wandered out and the sunrise rising, and he's like, the sun's rising, and then he died on the ship when the sun was rising.
Yeah.
And then 5 minutes later, it even went back to the planet with his wife when she was alone, when he ghosted her. And and then the sun rose, and that was like the actual end. And so, I mean, they were like, and even in like one little episode, they took like a lot of motifs, like one motif, and like used it thrice. And it didn't get, it was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, this is like kind of how I expected Stargate SG-1 to end, but Stargate SG-1 did not go like that at all.
Nope, it ended. It ended in a pile of dookie.
So sad.
Bad show. But they do
It
have
was
a
a
pick.
bad finale.
Yeah, it was yeah.
In all fairness, you can't know if it was a bad
We
show.
were really excited for it in the pilot though. The pilot was dope.
Yeah, it looked
That was a
dope.
good pilot. Yeah, Joe.
And this was the opposite, where like the pilot of this was garbage to me. Like it was just like
I think
a lot of shit going on and like wacky characters, and I'm just like, no.
I think the pilot started slow, but it was way better by the end. And I didn't have any care technically about any of these characters in the finale, but it definitely, especially like Sheridan, like I don't know, however they wrote him or however, like maybe his actor was just that good, but he like demanded some sort of reverence from the get go. So I like
without even knowing his backstory, really, you're just like, this guy's important.
Yeah. So I liked all that. So, I mean, I enjoyed the show all around. I would definitely be like, hey, I want to watch a Star Trek or like just a space thing, you know? If I'm in space mood, I'm pulling this show up, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in.
I knew you would be. I like picked this show because I figured it would be a Jimmy show.
I'm in because I think for I don't know, there's something about like the same way that I got hooked into like watching like the Star Trek stuff, but with the Star Trek stuff it became like watching like DS9 and Voyager. Finishing those two shows was like a job for me. By the end, it was like just like it hurt physically to do it, but I like this. Like you got some movies in there, and with the story arcs, like each season is almost like it's set up to be like a movie, like a mini series kind of thing in a way. Like what I assume with like the naming of the seasons is that each season really has like it's like a motif thing that it's coming back to all the time. It's got and then like maybe, which is why maybe like season 1 is gonna be feel different than season 2 with your Sheridan coming in. They had a cool scene of like early Sheridan. Was it in black and white in that?
I mean, I think that was just
that. Yeah,
to be
clearly the show at the time, right? That was great. It had great effect because it was very like, this was like old guy Sheridan, and like he was.
It was like the only
causing a ruckus, and
it was like the only clip we saw.
It was a clip, and it looked like he was gathering the troops, like in Independence Day. Bill Pullman.
Welcome to Earth.
Stop. We will not go silently into the night. Also, we never talked about the like Independence Day alien guy in the first episode.
What?
There was like,
could you explain what you're talking about?
There was like
Did
an
you
alien.
only see this?
There was an alien in the pilot that like his voice sounded like when the aliens in Independence Day talk through other people and they wrap their tentacles around your voice box.
Are you talking about the one that was in the chamber?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like, he's like, "Are you going to come to the meeting?" And he's like, "Yes."
I just liked when it was like, he was like, you should let the Narn and the Centauri kill each other, and he was like, "What do you think we should let this Centauri kill each other? Do you think we should let the Narn kill each other?" And he just goes, "Yes." Like that was it. I was like, this is a dope alien.
It was
He's
an
like,
eith-
yeah, who are
It
you?
was an either or question,
Yeah.
and he just goes, yes.
Let them both die. They're not important.
I don't know if we see any more of his type of alien throughout the show, but that's the type of alien I want to see in this kind of show.
Mhm.
Not bipedal bone women
Yeah.
Or more
Large.
longos.
or freaky haired like non-cone head bald people. It's kind of what the Centauris remind me of. They're like de-evolved cone heads.
Mm-hmm.
Predictions? Or Jimmy, do you want to watch this show? Because that's where we're at. Yeah, I mean, you want to, right?
Yeah, I totally do.
Yeah, you do.
I want to watch the movies too.
Yeah, you want to watch them all.
Because so the list on Wikipedia has like in chronological order, that's like they all are, a canon, like they all matter, which ropes me in.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know what the Shadow War is all about. I want to know who the bad guy is in it.
And the movies are out of order in the chronological thing. Like the chronological date is different than the air date for the movies.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
Joe.
It's just another Star Trek is all this is.
Joe, I'm gonna need to know how you did in your predictions, so I can do
factors
my
in yours.
predictions.
Number 1, no wacky hair. Definitely wacky hair.
Wacky hair.
The Centauri still exists, and they
Veer.
have the same fashion sense as before. Number 2, Narn. The Narn ambassador, whose name is Jakar, is the main character. We didn't see him, so probably not.
Not in this episode. He
Pretty
ain't.
sure he was dead.
No points for that. And then the last one is Octopus Monster. And towards the end of the episode, there's like a little short clip of
It was like a Zoidberg guy from
Yeah.
Futurama.
some sort of humanoid, like squid-faced monster being taken off on like a gurney.
I want to give it to you.
There's like a blanket covering his body, so we didn't really know if there's tentacles under there.
Yeah, we couldn't tell if there was.
He had a squid type face though.
His
for
face
sure.
was screaming
It's
squid.
more squid, less octopus.
It was Zoidberg. It was for sure. He was Zoidberg. He really was.
Zoidberg origin story.
But I mean, I know what I want to give you, but I necessarily technically shouldn't be voting.
Let's
Jamie said he wanted to give it to you.
Yeah. I was gonna say let's save.
We all saw him and we thought Octopus
Yeah,
Monster.
we
That's
did.
what I'm going off
Yeah.
of.
No, I mean,
So even if he had a squid face, he felt enough like an octopus monster that we count it
I'm going
based
with
on
it.
feel.
Because at this point in the podcast, you're not saying like this is the bad guy. You're just throwing out there somewhere out there. You're just saying a blanket statement. Octopus
octopus.
Monster.
A monstrous octopus. We'll see.
I mean,
Maybe it wasn't in the grandeur that we thought it would be in.
it was an octopus monster in space. But I will say, Jimmy is right, though. I mean, speaking for myself, the second I saw that thing, I was like, "Oh shit, you did it!" That's what I thought. It's really good. So,
That's too silly.
I mean, giving it to him.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we're giving it to you.
Point.
Sweet. Jimmy, who are yours?
I had Jeffrey Sinclair's Dead or Gone.
Yeah.
Did not see him. I actually read when I was doing some things, looking up other stuff. I think the beginning of this season, it said that he was like transferred or some shit. Number 2 was that the lady was in charge of. I said she was in charge of the station. I think.
Ain't
That's what I
nobody
wrote.
in charge of the station no more,
The
Jimmy.
station's gone.
It exploded.
She totally became the president of the Interstellar Alliance, though.
But what did you say?
Well,
Station.
I don't know what I said. What I wrote was
I don't know
that
what
she's
I
in charge
said.
of this ship/station.
0 points. Keep going.
Dang it. And then I wrote that the Narnia are still around and that there's a big war including them and that Jakar is around and
No big war, no Jakar.
all that's garbage.
0 points. Good job.
I had
Way to
Jeffrey
go.
Sinclair.
Fair enough. Well, most of mine were wrong. Jakar versus Londo. They will die in each other's with their hands around each other's throats. Neither one of them were in this episode.
Yeah.
Inconclusive. 0 points. Garibaldi has a dope ass scar. We didn't see a scar on his face, nor his ass,
Nope.
nor a scar.
No scars.
0 points.
0 scars, 0 points.
But I did score 1 point on Joe will only score 1 out of 3 points via his
Oh my
predictions.
gosh.
That is correct.
1 point.
Accurate.
Did we all just score 1 point this episode?
I think I scored 1.25 because the lady was totally in charge at the end.
In charge of something.
I'll give you that.
She had like the
I did say my original. I had a pre-show prediction that we wouldn't see
Ooh.
any aliens without. There would be no aliens without 2 legs.
Oh yeah. Well, we
It's
never
doing-
really saw that one thing's like whole
Lower
body. The Independence Day
I mean,
monster.
I can do. I can
He
do
looked like a
inconclusive.
robot.
Maybe we up the ante when you say, if you get a prediction wrong, you lose points.
Oh,
You
that's
think-
gonna be a
you think
season
any of us,
2
You
for
think any of
someone.
us would ever even have positive points in this show?
No, we'd have negative points, but we could have the least negative.
No, I'm only negative 20. I'm winning. Joey, are you looking something important up?
Yeah, I mean, I did some research on what I think is the guy that we saw at the end that we thought might have been an octopus monster.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
And it says they possess physically very strong and possess multiple limbs, including 2 arms and 2 to 5 toeless legs used for ambulation. So that's, they've got a lot of legs going on.
That's all I
That's
wanted.
a max
Remember,
of 7.
I
That's
said
not
that.
an octo.
I said
It's
that.
not exactly.
It's
but
more, yeah, he's more of a squid
they
Septo.
monster.
have, they
Squid
have
monster.
gills, which makes me think that they, like live in water.
Oh yeah, he was totally a water monster.
Mm-hmm.
That
I'm still giving it to you.
I'm more convinced now that that's an octopus
okay.
monster.
Okay. Joe, where can people find this podcast if they're still somehow listening right now?
Twitter at FNL Podcast and Gmail us at fnlpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
We didn't talk about at the beginning how this podcast works.
Nah, they'll figure it out by now, probably, right?
In case you're not familiar, we
Nah. If you're not familiar, listen to any one of the other episodes, and we'll explain it to you within the first couple minutes.
and then come back to this one.
It's too late by now. It's just too late. Just too late.
Babylon.
Babylon 5 was a great show. Let's go to space, fight some aliens, Shadow War.
5 was great.
Cool. Well, next week, episode 25, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys next week, episode 25, which is actually going to be the last episode of season 1. And then the week after that, we'll be back with the first episode of season 2. We're not taking a break or anything.
Tune in.
We're just changing seasons, and we'll probably have a special episode. We'll have to talk about this next week too, but probably a special episode in between those, just kind of recapping season 1 and what our favorites were.
Mm-hmm.
And if we somehow count up all the points, we might declare a winner of season 1. And that winner gets a drink a beer and eat a taco with their friends who are also doing that. So that'll happen. But we'll see you on the next episode, which will probably not be in space next week.
Because it's my week, right?
I don't know.
I think it's my week.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're fading out already. It's done. All right. Bye, guys. Thanks for listening.